We are taking the deposition of Tobey Maguire. Would the court reporter please swear in the witness? The camera shows the witness being sworn in by the court reporter.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony or give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are ready to begin.
In 1996, a feature-length movie called Don's Plum was made. It starred the so-called Pussy Posse, a circle of celebrity friends including Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, and Kevin Connolly. Considering the star power, Don's Plum seemed destined for success. But shortly after its completion, multiple lawsuits were filed, and DiCaprio and Maguire successfully banned the film's release in America and Canada. For years, the full story of Don's Plum has gone untold. How it destroyed friendships,
I feel so betrayed.
ruined Hollywood careers,
That is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard in my life.
instigated divorces, and even caused a producer to contemplate suicide. Now, the New York Post brings you the truth behind this salacious story.
My dad committed suicide, bro. He shot himself right in the head because of my mom.
Already there was this idea that we're going to make millions of dollars from this film and everybody is going to be big and, you know, all our careers are going to open up for us. As opposed to getting our foot in the door, they were like, this is our path to kick it down.
We remembered much of what we shot, and we knew there was a lot of what we would term gold. You know, there was just tons of gold. We shot 30 hours probably of actual film.
And then we took that footage and edited the core of the story to see what those main scenes shaped up like. And so we were then able to structure an outline for the second shoot.
So it was in March or April of '96 that we were able to assemble most of the cast, sans DiCaprio, but I think everybody else came back to shoot new scenes that helped support the previous improv.
How you doing, Ian?
I am just great. I am just having a blast.
Tobey is involved in the reshoots, correct?
Tobey is the star of the reshoots, for sure.
A lonesome cowboy, just waiting for his girl.
You participated in the second shoot of Don's Plum, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And prior to the time that you showed up to shoot the second shoot of Don's Plum, did you ever discuss the fact that you were appearing in the second shoot with Mr. DiCaprio?
I don't think so.
I had no idea that there were additional scenes that were already shot, because when I heard about it, they were already shot.
The second shoot, we started to add the subplots. And then we added the footage from the second shoot and came up with a more developed rough cut.
We were very verbal about this on the set, and we started talking about how we might actually have a feature-length cut based on what we shot.
Maybe they said we have enough to cut something over 70 minutes, or I don't remember what 80 minutes, or I don't remember.
There was a conversation that we had all this additional footage, like we have enough to make a feature.
Did you voice any type of objection to Don's Plum being anything more than a short?
I don't recall.
Did you hear anybody else object to that?
I don't recall.
I really wanted no part in trying to make this a feature film. It was always going to be a short film between friends. I mean, I can remember both Dave and RD being like, but Todd, this is $1 million film. Like, don't you want to have $1 million? As if it would be $1 million for each of us.
That got back to Leo, and Leo did not expect to hear that at all.
I remember specifically Ethan Suplee telling me, do you know that RD and Dale are trying to edit this as a feature film? While I was in Mexico City shooting Romeo and Juliet. I also remember talking with Kevin over the phone, hearing that, and being shocked by that.
Leo became immediately apprehensive, and there was good reason for it. He believed we were probably making a bad film. I mean, we were first-time filmmakers, we were doing 100% improv, we were shooting on black and white 16 millimeter, and Leonardo DiCaprio called both RD and I, and we had a conversation. and Leo was like, guys, I don't want this to be a feature film. I can't afford a bad feature film to go out right now. That's just not going to work for my career.
There's no way that can be a feature film. It's always intended to be a short.
But we said, look, we still have to cut together what we shot. And we think that what we shot is going to cut into a feature-length film. But here's the deal. If the film is not good enough, if the film is an embarrassment, if the film is something that could harm you in any way, the film won't go out. And that was our promise to Leo. And Leo agreed to those terms because they're pretty logical terms.
We had made this agreement that we were going to make a short film. To my knowledge, there was actually no cut of a short film.
Is it your testimony, Mr. DiCaprio, that you never discussed with Tobey Maguire that he was going to be doing reshoots in connection with Don's Plum prior to the time that the reshoots took place?
I don't remember that conversation.
Tobey Maguire's ambition was ferocious. And one of his goals, from his mouth to my ears, was to overtake DiCaprio, which to me was as ridiculous as it came.
Tobey told me that Leonardo DiCaprio is my closest friend and my arch competitor. I will run circles around him and I will beat Leo. That was his thing.
Maguire saw himself as a real actor, whereas DiCaprio was there for the fame and the money.
You have to understand that this is Tobey Maguire before any of the big art house films that he did with Ang Lee and Woody Allen, and certainly before he rose to stardom with Spider-Man. To give you an idea of where these guys were at this point in time in their careers, in 1994, Leonardo DiCaprio was in What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
I killed him, Gilbert. I killed him.
And for that performance, he was nominated for an Oscar. Also in 1994, Tobey Maguire was in Revenge of the Red Baron.
Hey, Baron! Here I come! Come on, you don't even know how to fly!
For which he was not nominated for an Oscar.
And your flight's been canceled.
Tobey Maguire was just an actor on auditions like everybody else.
You girls masturbate at all? You know, trying to get to know you a little bit.
In the original cut, there's a scene where everyone's talking about masturbation.
I haven't beat off in 2 months. Really? Why? I don't know, I just can't psych myself into it. Every time I start, I feel ridiculous. Yeah.
And Tobey's character, Ian, confesses that while he masturbates, he sticks his pinky up his ass.
You know what? I beat off and I stick my pinky
in your ass?
Not in my ass, but around the street I do it. And then, you know what? It makes it very better.
And I remember on one occasion when Tobey, during the post-production period of Don's Plum, was probing, that's not a pun, probing me for feedback on the way how the film was progressing through post. And then he asked about his own performance, and I said, "You give one of the most beautiful, honest moments in the film, and I think it's just really special." He's like, "Tell me about it." And I was like, "I don't want to spoil it." And he's like, "Tell me about it," And I'm like, "All right, I'll tell you about it." And I proceeded to tell him about his confession of his anal preferences while masturbating, his characters. And he just started to freak out. He was like, "I don't do that, man. I don't do that." I was like, "Okay, it's cool. Like, nobody actually cares." But he was extremely uncomfortable that he, I guess, had said that on film. Tobey was like, "Oh, you can't do this to me. You got to let me see it." And he kind of begged us.
I believe Tobey and his manager wanted to view the movie to make sure that Tobey's performance was up to par, that it supported that he's a really good actor. I think they had maybe some concerns that he came across a little bit weak on film.
Sounds so sad. Have you been rejected tonight?
I wouldn't exactly go there.
Really, wouldn't you?
Where I would go is into my car to meet my friends with you.
We screened it for Tobey Maguire, and we screened it for Eric Kranzler, his manager, 72-minute cut.
My coffee is not even lukewarm. It's not even lukewarm. My food was This guy is just...
Don's Plum is not an easy movie to watch. It's sometimes not a very easy movie to experience. It's a very raw, gritty movie.
I mean, I believe I'm here for some kind of purpose or some but the more I think about it, the more up I get, so why bother?
His manager had created the Pleasantville Tobey Maguire. Don's Plum for him was too wild, too crazy.
It's just rain, it's okay. It's fine, come on out. You see?
you for being a tonight in general. You for with this girl.
He thought it would ruin his career. He had his career all planned out for himself. And he thought releasing this movie would hinder his career.
Okay, looks like we're playing a new game, huh?
Just by the characters they were playing, the nature of the film. He didn't like it at all.
I could definitely see Maguire, as I knew him, feeling that Leo had outshined him and that possibly being part of the motivating factor for wanting to kill this film. Because obviously DiCaprio, Giant's brighter, takes the spotlight most of the time.
I definitely think that was part of it, that his manager was like, it won't be good for you to be seen in this movie and compared to Leonardo, who's brilliant, and Tobey wasn't that brilliant. He just isn't the talent that DiCaprio is, that's for sure.
Yeah, but you're being an
When I first met you, were an just like me, and all of a sudden you're the vegetarian
so
spiritual
maybe
master of the universe.
maybe I've grown.
It's nothing to do with growing, bro.
Well-
I think you're being fake.
I think we ended up at a final cut somewhere in June of 1996. And John Schindler introduces us to Jerry Metters, who was like our Lord and Savior. And here is a guy who's worked on dozens and dozens of films, worked with the biggest and best stars in the world as Executive Vice President of Marketing at Paramount Pictures. Jerry was the real deal, and that the film could attract talent of his caliber and an executive of his caliber, you know, was a really positive sign. His mind is thinking about the whole future of Don's Plum. He's thinking about press. He's thinking about how this movie will ultimately get released. How is he going to sell Don's Plum to the town? And at one point he had decided that it would be best that we announce that Don's Plum is completed.
I put out a press release. I was announcing the feature to the industry.
Jerry's reason for that is because he wanted all of the distributors in town to know about it so that we could potentially stir up a lot of interest and then hopefully end up in a bidding situation. So Jerry does the press release. Leo had not yet seen the film. Leo had not yet signed off on the film. That's when we aggressively set up the late June screening at MGM Grand, specifically for Leonardo DiCaprio and for the cast and crew.
But also there was movie executives and some other high-level industry people in for the screening.
The day of the screening, Leo calls us and says he's not going to make it because he's got to go to Juliette Lewis's birthday party in Vegas. This is terrible. This is potentially tragic for us because we need Leonardo DiCaprio to sign off on this film before we can move forward. If he doesn't see the film, when is he going to see the movie? It became a problem, a big, big, big problem. Not long after that phone call and message from Leonardo DiCaprio, the Daily Variety hit the stand, and in there was an announcement about Don's Plum, the completion of Don's Plum, and that Leonardo DiCaprio, along with his buddy Tobey Maguire, starred in it. Well, Leo freaked out. He phoned us up and he was screaming mad. And he canceled his trip to Vegas. He's now gonna come to the screening. So we were caught up in a world of fear and like anxiety. We're like, oh my God, Leo is so mad right now. I thought we were doomed, man. We are trembling, afraid. And Jerry was really nervous. He goes, well, at least Leo will know we have a voice in the press. And he said that. At least Leo will know we have a voice in the press.
It doesn't sound like something I say. I already knew I had the press. You know, the press has always written about everything I've done. I'm not saying I didn't say it, but I am saying I don't remember saying it.
And I think Jerry just had a knee-jerk reaction. It wasn't a smart thing to say, but in the end, I believed it was nothing but a harmless reaction to what was a very intense moment.
We had rented this space at MGM and got there and everyone was in a good mood. Everyone was friendly.
Leading up to that screening I was just a mess of nerves. And Leo shows up, sick to my stomach. The dude looks at me like I've betrayed him. It was like the standoff scene in The Quick and the Dead.
And then we went in and watched it.
The lights went down, my fear boiled up, and the opening credits began, and I just sat and wondered with the sweatiest palms I have ever created. And a couple of laughs, a couple of roars.
Everyone was laughing, and Leo was literally rolling on the floor, laughing.
All of a sudden, Leo's jumping out of his chair. He's smacking the ground. He's high-fiving all of our friends, Ferguson, Connolly, all of us. He's high-fiving us. Can't believe what's happening. Back in his seat, howling.
He loved it. He jumped up and down. He turned spins in the air. And on the way out, he congratulated RD and he said, well, you said you were going to make a feature. I never believed you could, but you did it, and it's pretty good. It was that simple.
Like everything was better, man. Everything we promised was on the screen. In many ways, Don's Plum was a love letter to our friends, you know? I just remember the buzzing afterwards and just everyone just in a state of elated shock. Oh, what a relief, God. We pulled it off, you know? We finally got there.
It sucked. It was a pathetic shell of what it should have been. It had good points. The actors were really good. The actors were totally on it. And of course, I'm comparing it to what I felt it should have been, and other people can only see it for what it is. What's out there is really embarrassing. You know, I'm embarrassed to have even been involved in it. The screening went extremely well in the sense that everybody seemed to really like the movie. Leo seemed to really like the movie. The actors seemed to really like the movie. I was maybe the only one that didn't really like the movie.
And Leo had done a complete 180. It was like, holy. He's like, I loved it. It was great. I want you guys to take it to see my agent. I'm booming with confidence at this point. I have no fear whatsoever. We arranged a screening at CAA headquarters and we screened the movie for them and they flipped.
The screening went great. Everyone in the room seemed thrilled. They wanted to sign us. They wanted to work up a deal with us.
They signed R.D. Rob on the spot, man. But they were like, we're very interested in repping you. I imagine you're interested in us repping you. And he's like, yes, absolutely. R.D. Rob got representation at CAA, the biggest agency in Hollywood. In that room at that time, every one of them said, we're on board, move forward. Every one of them. Every one of them. We were already getting offers from companies in Hollywood to distribute Don's Plum, and we set up a screening specifically for Miramax. Once they saw the movie, they told us they were gonna make us an offer. Miramax is gonna make an offer on my movie, dude. Miramax. You know, this is before Harvey Weinstein was outed as the monster he is. So at that point, all we ever did was admire this man. This is the guy who discovered Tarantino.
Well, I got very emotional. With the feelings of betrayal and anger. You know, I felt really hurt and I felt really angry.
Tobey Maguire believed Don's Plum was gonna just be a pile of crap. We weren't gonna succeed. Leo's gonna say no and we're gonna be gone. But that's not what happened. Leo proceeded and CAA got engaged and the movie is now coming out and now he has to make it stop. There's no way to make it stop now unless he creates a villain. And I got the big M on my forehead. I am the mark for that. I'm the perfect mark for that. And we get a call, I think, from Tobey, and he tells us that he has some concerns that he wants to talk about with us, and that he wanted to come over and make us dinner. And so we're like, yeah, sure, come on over, bro. And he came over, and he brought with him a box of macaroni and cheese and a package of tofu wieners. He began cooking and starting to talk about Don's Plum. He started suggesting that there was shady business about Don's Plum and that he had a problem with that and he felt like we were withholding from him and from the others information that they should know about and that we haven't been on the up and up from the beginning. And RD was kind of having none of it, you know, and RD was like, what the you really want? You know, Tobey, why are you here? Why are you really here? And the thing started boiling up, probably as the macaroni was boiling up. And finally, Tobey loses it. He comes completely undone and he starts screaming, I want Don's Plum to burn! And he's screaming and his veins are coming out on his neck. And it was just rage, pure, unadulterated rage. I couldn't figure it out, man, and it scared me bad, and I was in a desperate state of panic immediately when he started screaming in our faces that he wanted Don's Plum to burn. I kept saying, what is wrong with you? Why are you so hell-bent on, why do you want Don's Plum to burn? And then he started insisting that the worst thing that happened, that's how he phrased it. He was like, I want you to tell me the worst thing that happened. And I was like, what are you talking about? I don't even know what you want, man. Nothing horrible happened. He goes, That's bullshit, Dale. Bad happens all the time. I know bad happened with Don's Plum. I want to know what the worst thing is that happened with Don's Plum. Oh, Tobey was fishing that night. Tobey needed fuel for his fire. Be honest, be a man, he would say. Be a man and tell the truth, Dale. And so I'm like, all right, fine, I'll tell you the worst thing. I heard Jerry Metters say, after Leo got so pissed off about the Variety article, I heard Jerry Metters say that at least Leo will know we have a voice in the press. And holy he exploded. Tobey lost his mind. You're gonna pit the press against Leo? What? No, what are you talking about? I never said anything like that. You're gonna pit the press against Leo? You would do that to your own friend? You're a disgrace. Screaming and screaming, and I went into a crazy panic. I can't imagine how fast my heart was beating. No, Tobey, nobody, never. That would never happen. What are you talking about? I told you that's what Jerry said. Jerry didn't even mean it. What are you doing? Why are you tearing apart this movie? I'm going to Leo. I'm going to the guys. We are putting this out. Don't do it, please don't. But that was it, man. I gave Tobey everything he needed. We got a call, probably from Tobey, and the call was that we were meeting at Kevin Connolly's later that night. We showed up at Kevin Connolly's and we participated in a meeting that we now refer back to as the verbal bludgeoning or the bashing. Present at the meeting was Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, Ethan Suplee, Kevin Connolly, Scott Bloom, and Artie Robb, and myself, of course. Tobey led saying that I had told him, confessed to him, that we were planning on pitting the press against Leonardo DiCaprio, that the Variety article was a warning from us to Leo to warn him that we had a voice in the press and that we're prepared to use that voice in the press if he were to object in any way to Don's Plum, which was so crazy because he had already consented to Don's Plum. So Leo was just sitting there, getting angrier and angrier, and then finally he just jumped up and he just started screaming. You wanna me? You gonna me? I'm Braveheart, motherfucker. I chop heads. Call me a liar, a cheater, a betrayer, a Canadian piece of insult after insult. Tobey went crazy on RD. He's like, admit it, you're a star RD. He's like screaming like within inches of his face. You take advantage of people, you step on your friends. And RD got just mentally broke down. And then at one point he just burst out screaming. I'm fine, I did it, okay? I'm a star, took advantage of all of you, that's what I am, I'm a loser. Everything just kind of went silent. The room just kind of died. Leo was making a very big decision because the editor's work is at stake, the DP's work is at stake, dozens of actors' work is at stake, other writers' work is at stake. You don't beat that guy up because you got a beef with me. You got a beef with me, take it up with me. If Leo decided to interfere with Don's Plum, he decided to interfere with Kevin Connolly's career. He knew that. How's the weather, babe?
Gnarly.
Like gnarly?
Gnarly thunderstorm coming.
In a way, life was starting to imitate art. Leo was becoming more and more like Derek, the way he acted, the things that he said. He knew that we had been already invited to Sundance. He goes, this movie isn't gonna be in Sundance. My agents run this town and they run Sundance, and believe me, that movie's not gonna be in Sundance. Your movie's not gonna be anywhere. My agents run this town. At one point he goes, I can't even look at your faces anymore. I can't look at your face anymore. And he points to me, you Canadian tree-hugging piece of shit. Get the out of here.
Get the out of here now.
All of our dreams, all of the work, it all died that day. In that moment, it was done. And I knew it. And I knew it. Tobey was so successful at creating such a division of these friendships. Artie Robb was friends with Kevin Connolly for 12 years at that point. Artie Robb had been friends with Leo for 6 years at that point. Artie Robb had been friends with Scott Bloom for 12 years at that point. Ethan Suplee and I were the newcomers, and we were all friends for 3 years at that point. These were deeply, deeply rooted friendships. And in one day, all of those relationships were destroyed. And by one day, I mean one day. I went from being in the most popular circles in Hollywood and being beloved in the group. And then I go from that to off and die. All my relationships are completely gone. I've got a dead film. I can't get anywhere. I cannot move. I am blacklisted.
Well, what the did you think was going to happen going up against them? You were obviously going to get blacklisted. That's what happens in this industry all the time. It is an industry of favoritism, nepotism, and, you know, the biggest wins.